All right, quiz review. Number one, some of you might be tempted to send the 5 halves in here and here. And if you do so, that's fine. And I'll just do that off to the side real quick. If you did that, you get x to the 5 halves, and you would get times x to the negative 15 halves. Okay? And then you would combine them, keep the base, add the exponent. You would get x to the negative 10 halves. And that would be x to the negative 5, which then we would move down to the bottom. Nothing wrong with that. You can do that, and that's fine. But I would suggest what you do is combine these first. So, again, this is a 1. Keep the base, add the exponents. 1 plus negative 3 is negative 2. Now you could move it down to the bottom right now and do 9 over x squared and then send the exponent in. It really doesn't matter. You're going to send it in there and there. You're going to get 9 to the 5 halves, 5 halves times 1, and then x to the 5 halves times negative 2 over 1. Again, you're going to get the same negative 10 over 2, or the 2's cancel, and there's your negative 5, which we talked about before, will just go on the bottom. Doesn't matter which way you do it. If you send it in first, it's not wrong. It's perfectly fine. Your choice. All right. Now, on number 2, right off the bat, anything to the 0 power is 1. So that's basically not there. I mean, it is there. It's times 1, but anything times 1 is itself. So we can kind of disregard that right now. First thing we need to do is send the 2 in here, here, and here. So that's going to give us 3 squared, x to the negative 6, y to the 8, over 9, x to the 5, y to the negative 1. Well, on the top, we're going to get 3 squared is 9. The x's, we're at 9 on the bottom, which you can see where that's going. The x's, I have 5 on the bottom, and I have negative 6 here. Kids are being bratty, they're being noisy, you're going to send them downstairs. Well, if I already had 5, and I'm now sending 6 more down, that means I have x to the 11th downstairs. My y's, I had 8 upstairs. I'm going to be sending this one upstairs to join them, so that's y to the 9th. So my answer is y to the 9th over x to the 11th. Now, number 3, I'm going to do this 2 different ways. I'm going to do it once, erase it, and then come back to it, because it's all personal choice. There's a lot of choices here. You can clean it up and cancel first, or multiply first and then clean it up. I'm going to clean it up first. Now, when I'm doing that, I could cancel this with 2 of these, leaving just 1. But, even easier than that, I can cancel that x squared with that x squared right off the bat. And then these, I just send downstairs. So I already had 3 downstairs. I'm going to add 2 more. That's going to give me 5. I don't know what happened there. Technical issues. That's going to give me 5 on the bottom. And then what am I left with? I'm left with the x3 on the top. And then on the top I have a 6 and a 9, which will reduce to 2 over 3, and the x3 over y to the 5th. Now, coming back to the beginning. If I wanted to, I could have multiplied straight across. Now when I did that, if I do that, what I'm going to get is 6 on the top. X squared and x to the 3 is going to be x to the 5. And I'm just going to have that y to the negative 2 here. On the bottom, I'll have the 9, x squared, y cubed. And you can see it's going to end up being the same place. The 6 and the 9 will reduce. I ask myself, where do I have more x's? The answer is on the top. How many more? 3 more. With the y's, these bad boys literally are going to move downstairs and give me y to the 5th. So, again, there's not one way to do this. Some are faster than others, but as long as you get there, no big deal. For some reason my 5 didn't print. So I'll have to type that out, write that out. Okay, for this one, first off, my x's. I have 3/4 and 1/2. Well, I cannot do anything with the 1/2 and 3/4 until I convert 1/2 to 2/4. Common denominator. Now, where do I have more x's? On the top. How many more? 3/4 minus 2/4 is 1/4. My y's. These are going to move upstairs. I already had 1. I'm moving 3 up. There's my answer. Okay, not sure what happened here, but my problem was 2. I'll put a 1 there. X squared z to the negative 5 over 9. I'll put a 1 there. Z squared. All of that taken to the negative 2 power. So I need to multiply the negative 2 times the 1, the 2, the negative 5, this 1, and that 2. So here we go. 2 to the negative 2. X to the negative 4. 2 times negative 2. And z, careful, negative 5 times negative 2 is positive 10. On the bottom, 9 to the negative 2. Z, 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Okay, let's clean it up. First off, 2 to the negative 2 is going to come downstairs and become 2 squared, or I'm just going to automatically do that right there. The 9 to the negative 2 is going to go upstairs and become 9 squared, or 81. Now, the x to the negative 4 is going to come downstairs. These 4 of z's are going to go upstairs and join the 10, making 14. And that's my answer. Okay, take your time here. Remember, you're going to have time on the quiz. Take the 4 and multiply it by each term. And remember the mantra. Sign, number, variable. So positive times a positive is positive. 4 times 5 is 20. Positive times a positive is positive. 4 times 3 is 12. And the x just tags along. Positive times a negative is negative, and 9 times 4 is 36. Next, we're going to send this in to all 3. So negative times a positive is negative. 1 times 5 is 5. X times x squared is x cubed. Negative times a positive is negative. 1 times 3 is 3. X times x is x squared. And lastly, negative times negative is positive. 1 times 9, and the x just tags along. Oh, I forgot my x squared here. I don't know what happened. Sorry. It tags along. So now, I have an x squared here and an x squared there. I'm going to underline. I have an x and an x, and then everything else is a singleton. So I'm going to put my x to the cube, or to the 3 first, standard form. And if it helps you when there's all this stuff, you can always just scratch it out. Now my x squared, 20x squared minus 3x squared is plus 17x squared. Again, if you want to scratch these out, you can. Next is my x's. 12 plus 9 is 21x. This is also a way to make sure that you get everything. And don't leave anything behind, or don't forget to combine something. Okay, we talked about this before. You might want to make a note to yourself. If you've been having trouble with this, you're going to write a note to yourself to add. Pay attention to that symbol. We're not multiplying. Now, let's look. Do I have any other a cubed b's? No, I do not. Do I have any other a squareds, b squareds? Yes, I do. Do I have any other b's? Yes, I do. Now, when you got something like this, there's really no standard form to worry about. Whatever you want to do, because you got all these letters and variables. Letters and exponents. So I'll put my 5a cubed b, which is by itself, right there. Next, I'm going to combine my squiggles. 2a squared b squared minus 4a squared b squared is negative 2a squared b squared. And last, my b's. If you borrow $14, you borrow $8, you're in the hole $22. There's my answer. Okay. Notice the negative has to get sent to all four terms. I'm going to write this below, and I'm not going to write parentheses for fear of wanting to multiply it. So this is negative 3q cubed, negative 2q squared, positive 3q, and negative 17. Now, I don't have any other q to the fourth, so I'm just going to write that. 8q to the fourth. Cubes. I don't have any other cubes, so I'm just going to write minus 3q cubed. Squares. I have this and this. Again, if you borrow $4 and you borrow $2, you owe $6. Negative 6q squared. Q's. Right there. 1 plus 3 is 4q. And the negative 17 is by itself. Okay, this one's a messy one. You're going to multiply RS times everything. Take your time. RS times R squared. Well, that's R1, R squared makes R cubed S. Be very careful and slow with these. Next, RS times 2RS. So, positive times the positive, 1 times 2. R times R, go variable at a time, is R squared. S times S is S squared. RS times H. Remember the hint I gave you in class also. Just go in alphabetical order every time so that you can see the ones that are supposed to combine later. Now I'm sending in this. Sorry, technical difficulties. Had to realign the smartboard. I might have to do it again. Okay, let's give this a shot. So I'm going to send the negative h in. Oh, that's a little bit off. So it's going to be minus, wow. I love technology. So it's going to be minus, way off, h r squared. Sorry about this. Try this again. Minus h r squared. That's better at least. Negative h times this. Again, go in alphabetical order. So negative 2rsh. That's just going to help me remember to do that. And then finally at the end, minus h squared. And these two are the only two that are going to actually join together. So I have my r cubed s plus 2r squared s squared minus rsh, 1 minus 2, minus r squared h, sorry, I should have put it in alphabetical order, I wrote hr squared. R squared h minus h squared. And again, it doesn't matter. It's just a good habit to get into writing them all in the same order. Okay, last page. Now, you got to be very careful here. I've seen a lot of people send the 7x in like this, properly. So 7 times 3, 21. X squared times x, x cubed. 7 times 5, 35. X squared y. And then plus 28, the x just comes along and the y squared comes along. But then I saw people writing just plus 7y, along the way, like so. The 7y also gets multiplied in here, here, and here. So next, the numbers are going to be the same. 7 times 3 is plus 21. But then it's going to be x squared y. And then it's going to be plus 35 again, but it's going to be xy squared, because we're doing y times y there. And it's going to be 28 one more time, but it's going to be y to the third. Now, when we combine like terms, the x squared y will join here, the xy squared will join here, which will lead us to a final answer of 21x cubed plus 56x squared y plus 63xy squared plus 28y cubed. Add, not multiply. Just look for common terms. Okay, I have a v cubed and a v cubed. I have a number and a number. I have a v to the fourth and a v to the fourth. And that's how they're going to join. So 8v to the fourth minus 1v to the fourth is 7v to the fourth. Now my cubes. Negative 4v cubed minus 1v cubed is minus 5v cubed. You borrow $4, you borrow $1, you owe 5. And then 7 plus 2 is 9. That's it. Okay, next one is a subtraction problem. Here, here, and here. Minus 3p to the fourth. Plus 5p and minus 2p squared. Now I look for the same things. 6p, 5p. P to the fourth, p to the fourth, p squared, p squared. I always start, since I have one letter, I'm going to start with my highest exponent, my degree, which is 4. So 8p to the fourth minus 3p to the fourth is 5p to the fourth. Now my squares. 4p squared minus 2p squared is positive 2p squared. And 6p plus 5p is 11p, and that's it. Again, we're timesing. Here, here, and here. 5 times 6 is 30. X squared times x is x cubed. Negative 35, x squared y. Positive 20, the x just tags along, the y squared tags along. Again, I saw people just writing minus y 3 times sporadically throughout. This gets multiplied here, here, and here. So it's going to be minus 6x squared y plus, negative times negative, 7xy squared, and then minus 4y cubed. X squared y plays with x squared y, xy squared with xy squared. So that leaves me with 30x cubed minus 41, sorry, that's a minus, x squared y, the board's going out again, plus 27xy squared minus 4y cubed. Okay, polynomials, yes or no? This one is definitely a polynomial. There goes the board. I'm going to start with my highest degree, which is right there. Negative x to the 4. Next is plus 5x cubed, as if I don't already have bad handwriting, minus 3. I'm trying to figure out where the pen's going to land. Lead coefficient is negative 1. That's right there. The degree is 4. which makes it quartic. Now, a lot of people want to say that this is no because of that negative 3. That's okay. 3 to the negative 3 is just 1 over 27. It's variables that cannot have a negative exponent. So this is a yes. So it's 2x to the 4th, sorry, negative 2x to the 4th, plus 1/2 x, which is the 1, and then minus 1 over 27. Lead coefficient is negative 2, my degree is 4, and I have quartic again. Last two. And the last two did not print. So this one is negative 3x to the 4 plus 3x squared minus 1x to the 5 plus pi. Some people want to say no because of the pi. Not so. Pi is just a number, 3.14, blah, blah, blah. So that is fine. So our answer is yes. It is not in standard order because this needs to move to the front. Otherwise, it's fine. So negative 1x to the 5th minus 3x to the 4th plus 3x squared plus pi at the end still. The lead coefficient is at negative 1. It is a degree of 5, which makes it quintic. Some people say quintic. And the last one is 10x to the 1/2 plus 4x cubed. And this is a no. Why is it a no? The x has an exponent that is a fraction, and that's not possible. If any variables have a fraction, decimal, or negative exponent, it's a no-go. That's it.